Dumelang guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I am Becca. Please do not forget to like, comment and share this video, but most importantly, do not forget to subscribe. Today I come to you guys with a whole new different video which is out of the normal content that I usually enjoy making. This will be part of my Adult Take 101 playlist content, I believe. But yeah, before we get into this video, just please be advised that I am not a financial advisor. I am no car sales, whatever. I'm not qualified to be giving out the type of advice that I'll be giving out. Anyway, this video is about how to buy your first car, or rather how to buy a car in general. I'll be telling you guys about the process and also tips on how to sort of have like a smooth sailing process of buying your first car. Now, if you guys don't know, I recently bought this baby that I'm inside right now, Cathy Blue. If you haven't watched the video of me going to collect my car, I'll make sure to link it in the cards. Just click and go ahead and watch the video and then come back to this one. Okay, so let's get started. I hope you guys won't mind me looking down while making this video, because I do have notes. I have notes, so let's get started. Okay, so the first point with buying your first car is to know your budget. I'm not even going to say know the car that you like, because most probably getting your first car, the car that you specifically like is the car that you ideally won't be able to afford. Okay, I'm not speaking this upon everyone, I'm not imposing it upon you, but that was the situation with me. The cars that I want are very expensive, so it initially came down to me knowing my budget. Knowing your budget as in how much you have to spend, if I can put it that way. So you can say it's going to be your transport money and additional costs, but that point will this point leads on to many other. Okay, so point number one is know your budget. Point number two is, after knowing your budget, is then you start the whole researching process. Search for the car that you feel ideally you can afford based on the budget that you compiled, what you believe you can afford. And browsing through and actually consulting with the sales rep, it doesn't mean that when they say, okay, I'll apply for this car or whatever, and then you get approved by the bank, does not mean that you can initially afford that car. So getting approved does not mean you can afford something. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, the second step is to search for the car that you initially want to drive, or the car that you want to own. Step number three is to inquire. Okay, so you start making contact with the sales rep, inquire about the product that you're getting, ask any additional information that you might have not found on the internet. And then step number four is documentation. So you need to get your documents ready so that they can do sort of like a credit check of some sort, sending it to the banks to make sure that they basically the car dealership will sort of like send out your documents to the bank. You don't need to go and apply to each and every individual bank. They do that for you. So you send your ID, 3 months bank statement, and your 3 months pay slip. I'm not sure of a person who just started working, let's say maybe that month. I think you can send your contract and a dummy pay slip that you can ask for from your HR manager. Then they will send it out to each and every bank to ask, hey, this person wants to buy a car, can you guys finance it? Then they take it from there. Step number five will initially be feedback. So the salesperson will get back to you with the information of whether you can afford the car that you want or not. And this is a pro tip: a good salesperson, of which the one that I was dealing with, thank God I got to deal with as a sales rep, his name is Cedric from Kia Alberton. A good salesperson will tell you, based off the salary that you get, to say, you know what, I don't think this car is ideal for you. Looking at your the distance that you'll be traveling, stuff like that, you will initially just end up spending more. So instead of looking for a car that costs like 170, please look for a car that costs maybe 140 or 130, right? So that's what my sales rep, the car dealership, or whatever you guys call those people, did for me. That's what Cedric did for me. He was like, no, I don't think this car is ideal, because I applied for Suzuki Swift, Swift, and then he recommended that I look under a certain budget, like a lower amount of cars, which is how I ended up with my lovely Cathy Blue. And then the next step is to test drive the car once they have applied. Now, you can initially literally go to the car dealership and do this thing while you go to each and every car dealership that you feel have your potential cars, the potential cars that you want. Now, I was doing this whole thing online. I didn't have time to like go to car dealerships and stuff like that, hence why I only got to test drive the car once we are done with the credit check and checking if I can afford the car. Does it make sense? I haven't signed anything, but I wanted to make sure that, okay, I'm really feeling this car, driving it, seeing the condition that it's in, and stuff like that. So when you go test drive the car, go with someone that knows all the engine stuff, whatever. And if you are fortunate enough to know all about cars, then I guess you are good with going alone. The next step is to sleep on it. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your boyfriend, talk to whoever wants to listen if it's okay for you to take the car. But it will all boil down to how you feel about the car, right? If it feels good, then the following day get back to the sales rep and tell them, yeah, you know what, let's wrap this up. Now, the other part is insurance. Now, this is very important. You will not leave the car dealership once you have decided that, okay, I want this car. You should know that insurance will probably, like, it's standard, it is compulsory for you to have insurance. Otherwise, the car dealership won't allow you to leave with the car. And as soon as you sign over, as soon as you sign on the dotted line to say, okay, I'm now liable to paying this debt, like I want this car to become mine, or whatever the case may be, those papers need to also include the insurance company. Mine, so Kia provided insurance brokers. So the insurance broker was the ones that communicated with the insurance company, and that person gave me 3 top, rather cheapest or most affordable insurance company, and I got to choose from the 3, the one that I wanted for my Cathy Blue. Then I chose from that. I'd say after a month, yeah, I changed insurance. I went to like another one. But for me, I'll never be that person that just cancels insurance just because, even if I get rid of that sign, I'm not sure if it's the sign or the other sign. Even if I get to drive like perfectly, I would never cancel my insurance. That's not me. That won't work. So this is the end of the video. I wanted to keep it short, and I hope it is short. So now the tips, just to sum everything up. So the first one is to know your budget. You also need to have like money to spend. You can't now buy a car and not be able to take yourself out for a movie or whatever. You get what I'm saying? The second one is to research on the car that you're getting. Research on, I don't know, everything. Is the car fuel efficient? This is a quite important one for us in South Africa at the moment, because child, the price of petrol, nonsense. The third one is to test drive the car and go see the car with someone who knows about cars. The fifth one is to be prepared for additional costs. Additional costs being, insurance shouldn't even be under additional costs. It should be compulsory. It should be included. The budget of insurance should be included with the budget for the car. So you should have additional costs for maintenance, the tracker, fuel, service plan, those sort of things. Because the older the car is, the more you need to pay for those things outside of paying for your monthly installment. This is like TMI information, but I got my car with like a balloon payment. Why? Because I'm not sure if I want to keep the car, but I believe once I wasn't sure, let me put it this way, when I got the car I wasn't sure if I'm gonna keep it or not, but now I've made up my mind. So I would need to make arrangements to sort of like on a yearly basis pay towards the balloon payment or something like that, so that when it comes for the time for the bank to sign over the car to me, once I'm done paying for it, I don't have to then pay for the balloon payment at the end. I hope this video was helpful to you. It's not really like pro advice, because nowadays everything is out in the open. This is literally information that you can get off the net. But if you watched this video, I really do appreciate you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Watch my other videos though. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.